Hey, house guests, I'm Andrea Chu.
And I'm David Belleville.
And we are here to talk Big Brother for the final time this season.
Big Brother season 25 is officially in the books, and it ended up being a historic season with the first Sikh winner in Big Brother history. Jag takes home the title.
Amazing. Congrats to Jag. We will go over kind of the crucial events that led up to the two people sitting in the final chairs, kind of our favorite moments from the season, what we think maybe could be improved, perhaps, for the future.
BB26.
Yeah, just all-encompassing, a little finale recap, our favorite moments, funny moments from the finale episode. There are plenty of them.
Yes, there's so much to discuss. Andrea, where should we start?
So I was thinking we would begin with Bowie Jane's HOH.
Starting with Bowie Jane, let's do it.
Just like thinking, there was a decision that she made where she could have paved a way possibly for herself to win or even to make it to the final two seats. And she instead chose to stay loyal to Matt and Jag and opt for Felicia going home, even though she would have definitely had a better chance to win against Felicia.
Let's be honest, Bowie Jane has left Big Brother fans screaming at their televisions all season long. Granted, she made it to the finale night with not nothing. She did have 3 HOH wins under her belt. She had a resume, at least, that she could have fought for herself. But at the end of the day, she, like you mentioned, decided to send Felicia home and ride it out with Matt and Jag, the two strongest players from this season, with arguably one of the weakest players of this season. So she just didn't see the writing on the wall. She chose loyalty over an effort to win.
I've truly never seen someone so content with losing. She wasn't playing to win. She decided to team up with two people that she had no chance of winning against, and she had to have known that. And she was just fine with it. She was just in there having a good time, not playing to win. I was like, you had opportunities to make moves and come home with that money, and she just didn't want to do it.
Either she didn't want to do it or she didn't know how to win this game.
Maybe.
It really... There were times throughout this season, I'm sorry, Bowie Jane, where it just didn't seem like a lot was going on behind those eyes.
Yeah.
And she could have had a chance against either Cirie or Felicia, and had she have strategized better with those two ladies, perhaps she would have had a better chance going into finale night. But it just seemed like throughout the season she was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
And she even made a remark during the finale last night when she said, "It's so cool out here, Matt and Jag," when she was talking to them from the other side of the wall while they were in the final two chairs. She literally said, "It's so cool out here."
Yeah.
So I'm convinced that she was just happy to be a part of it all.
Yeah, she seems like a fun time, but not a fun watch for someone who's like looking for competition and the drama that comes with Big Brother.
No.
Jag similarly had a decision to make once he won the veto. He was basically casting the sole vote to evict, and he could have chosen to go with his word and send Felicia home, or he could have taken a shot at Matt then and there, because him and Bowie Jane were trying to hide the fact that they had a final two. So they were like, let's pick a number 1 to 100, and whoever's farthest away will go on the block, like between Jag and Matt. And Matt fell for it, landed on the block, and Jag decided to keep him around, like he stuck to his word.
That was a risky little game they decided to play because I believe, if memory serves me correctly, Matt said 77 and Jag said 73. And so at that point in time, Bowie just had to make up any number that was closest to 73, and she said her number was 70.
Yeah.
If I am playing that game, I'm looking at Bowie Jane with a side eye thinking to myself, was your real number 70? Really? Jag was only 3 off?
But Matt didn't even, he was like, I guess it's fair and square. Like,
Yeah.
He didn't even question it.
Didn't even question it, and they pulled a fast one on Matt. It didn't matter because ultimately it was Matt and Jag in the final two.
Yeah. And we saw, there was like a really funny shot. Once Matt, Jag, and Bowie were, the final 3, they were like, oh, the mafia or whatever. There was like a shot of Matt and Jag hugging each other, and Bowie Jane was kind of like faded in the background, just like, and I was like, this is so symbolic of the dynamic of this group.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if she realized it. She had to have known that the two of them were closer, But I don't know if she realized that like she was really on the outside of this group and they were really, using her as someone who they didn't see as a competitor to go against, like to bring with them to the end.
To her credit, she knew that Matt and Jag were good people to tie herself to make it far and deep into this game. And so in that vein, she did strategically get herself farther. However, there was a certain point in time where she should have severed that tie, and she never did.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever credit you want to try to find to give Bowie Jane, you'll just hit a roadblock and realize that when she should have made a different move, she didn't.
Yeah.
And she really sealed her fate at the end.
She did. But nonetheless, we had that final HOH competition, which, the first part was them holding on to those balls and hitting up against the wall. They were holding on there for like an hour and a half or longer.
Bowie went down after an hour.
The three of them were up there for a while.
Good effort.
Once it was Jag and Matt, Jag didn't want to seem too fishy by like really gunning for this. So him and Matt literally did rock, paper, scissors to decide who would drop.
I could not believe what I was watching as that moment was unfolding. The finale, the final HOH of Big Brother is the Super Bowl of this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it all comes down to that final HOH. And so to see a crucial part of that competition come down to a game of rock, paper, scissors, I guess that speaks volumes about the trust that these two gentlemen had in each other. But this is not a game of trust. This is a game of backstabbing and blindsiding and deceit. And so it was a massive risk for Jag to take that fall. So there was an element of luck and trust in Matt that did end up panning out for him, but he's lucky for that.
Yeah, and after Matt won part one of the HOH competition, Bowie and Jag faced off in that like little zipline multiverse thing where they had to put all the competitions in the different universes and then in order. And this took them over an hour, both of them. Jag thought he blew it. He was like, I've never done worse on a competition. And he ended up beating Bowie Jane because it seemed really hard, to be honest. Like, you mess up one little thing, the whole thing's off. Obviously, in those things, they don't tell you what's wrong. So you're just like nitpicking every little decision.
I've got to be honest, when the times were revealed, I was actually surprised at how quickly they went.
Yeah.
The way that they were talking, I thought Bowie Jane was going to have like 6 hours to complete. And the way Jag was talking, I thought it was going to be hours upon hours. So even though it took them a long time and that was an incredibly hard competition, they actually finished quicker than I thought they were going to.
That's true. That's kind of been a theme this whole season. Like, they're all talking about like, oh, I wish I went faster. And we're like, that seemed really fast to me. Like, I don't know how you would have done that any faster, but.
Right. So Jag does end up winning. So it becomes Jag and Matt in the final part of the HOH competition. They end up tying each other in the final HOH competition.
This was crazy to me. They were like exactly the same answers because it was one of those memory things like for each person. And this was really hard to me. Like, the exact amount of times like someone was on the block or the exact number of votes it took to get somebody out. But I guess if you're in the house, you'd be more in tune with that kind of thing. But they were neck and neck the entire time. Same answer, same answer, same answer. Even when they got it both wrong, same answer.
Yeah.
And then it all came down to that tiebreaker. And they actually put very similar answers, but Jag was a little bit closer.
I just could not believe that the biggest, most important competition of the season came down to a game of rock, paper, scissors and a mathematical guessing game. But that's what happened. Jag ultimately wins the guessing game and gets to pick who he wants in the final two. And when it came down to the final two, when it was Jag and Matt, they each had a chance to sell themselves to the jury. And quite frankly, we saw two polar opposite sales pitches coming from Matt and coming from Jag.
Absolutely.
Jag was fairly aggressive in his, and Matt appeared to maybe not know exactly what to say or how to sell himself.
Yeah. So when they were answering the questions, I was like, okay, I think Jag is a little bit more prepared. He was prepared to take shots at Matt, which Matt seemed a little bit more timid, more, he didn't want to throw Jag under the bus in any way. But Jag was very much like, I took the lead in the Minutemen. Even though, Matt, you thought you were deciding all of these things, it was really me telling you what to do. Like, Jag really took ownership for so many things. But he came across well. He really made a good argument for himself. And I was like, oh, you're good. But then when it came down to the speeches, I was like, Jag seems to be taking credit for like a few more things than he should.
Right.
He was like, I single-handedly got Cirie out and I single-handedly did this and that. You didn't single-handedly do anything, so let's relax there. But it ultimately didn't matter.
It didn't. And to Matt's credit, even though he wasn't as forceful in his sales pitch for himself, he did articulate some of his gameplay that did open my eyes to some of his strategic thinking. He talked about backing off on winning some competitions. He talked about him coming into this house as an athlete and not wanting to be a giant threat to everyone. So he was a little bit more reluctant to win a bunch of competitions. Whether or not that's true, we'll never know, but that's what he tried to convey to the jury. And then he had a stellar social game, something that Jag couldn't really talk too much about. But Matt 100% had a more well-rounded game. I just don't know if he did as good of a job as Jag did in selling himself to the jury.
Yeah. And I don't know how much really we learned from the jury questions at the end. But I have to say, we certainly didn't learn anything from Bowie's question, which was, how much better did your game get when you joined the mafia with me and Matt? And I was like, that was a wasted question.
It was no insight whatsoever. So even though we weren't surprised by what Bowie Jane had to say, there was a big surprise revealed on finale night. I know that this was your favorite part of the entire season.
My favorite thing, we got the big Jared-Cirie relationship reveal, which half the people on stage already knew because they got evicted pre-jury. But then we had everyone in the jury house, Matt and Jag, having no idea what they were talking about. And it was amazing. Like, Julie was like, okay, Jared, do you know anything about the secret? And he was like, I do. He was like, I got to play this game with my mom. People were shocked. And my favorite reaction was Felicia's, which I predicted. Yes. She was like, no wonder I couldn't get in between those two.
Yep. It was so much fun to watch that come to fruition. They did, honestly, a pretty great job at keeping that a secret. Obviously, Izzy found out just by being a diehard Survivor and Cirie fan.
Yeah.
But the only person that they told, well, by they, and I mean Jared solely, is Blue. And Blue kept the secret to herself, and Izzy kept the secret to herself. So even the people that found out, they were able to keep it extremely insulated within their group, and ultimately it was just a fun part of this season that I loved watching.
Yeah, it didn't come into play so much, the secret. I think it did affect Cirie having Jared in the house, just the way that she played the game, having to look out for another person. But no one spilled the beans, so Nope. It was fun to see everyone find out at the same time.
And that wasn't the only big surprise of finale night. Not only did we find out that Jared and Cirie have been playing this game as mother and son, but also we found out that Felicia is not related to Denzel Washington.
Yeah, Cameron was the only person on earth who ever thought that. But I'm glad that we got to clear the air, finally.
Finally. And speaking of Cameron.
Yeah, the shocker of the night was that America's favorite player was Cameron. I had no idea that people liked him. I really didn't. When Julie said the top three were Cirie, Matt, and Cameron, I'm like, okay, Cirie and Matt, that makes sense. I'm like, Cameron?
Yeah.
And then when she announced that he won, even Cameron was shocked. Like, he was like, what? Like, I had no idea. Like, this was crazy to me. I didn't see any discourse online of people liking Cameron. I don't know where that came from. Apparently, my votes for Cirie that I use, 17 different emails for, all for nothing. This was crazy to me.
It was a surprise to me, too. You had a lot of great contenders. Felicia was an entertainer throughout the season. Matt, he's hard not to love. And then you have Jag, who ultimately won the competition. You had Cirie coming in with a Survivor fan base. There were a lot of contenders. My theory is that Cameron was just the player that people loved to hate. He kind of became the BB25 villain and made a lot of big moves and shook up the house. So who knows? It was a surprise to me, though, too.
Real shocker.
Yeah.
Real shocker. I do want to talk about just the game as a whole and our kind of big takeaways from the way that this season played out. We did have a discussion a few weeks ago about how the competitions were very physical, or at least catered more toward like young, fit, mostly guys, young, fit people.
Right.
And how, like, if we want, a a more diverse cast to have a chance. So like people of different ages, different abilities to have a chance at winning different competitions, we need to change them up.
Yeah.
We need to have more like memory ones, more maybe like a general trivia or things where you're like estimating time, not just like running around or physical things, or even memory ones that have like a running or physical element. Like I need some like straight up memory games.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, CBS and Big Brother has come a long way in diversifying their cast. I think it's a true reflection of what America is, and it's added a lot more entertainment into the house as well. I loved this cast of characters that came together this season and in the previous few seasons. But the gameplay itself, the rules of the game haven't caught up to this new age Big Brother. And so hopefully as time goes on, maybe BB 26 and the seasons that follow, we'll see a little bit different competitions and gameplay. That way everybody has a chance, because nobody wants to see one person run away with every comp.
Yeah, I think Big Brother winner Andy Harris summed it up really well, and I'm talking about on Twitter. He tweeted, if the same person is winning all the competitions, your game is broken.
100%.
Plain and simple. Like we need to find a new strategy or change up the game if we want more people to win.
So we'll see. I think that that's kind of an overwhelming sentiment by the fan base. So we'll see if we see any changes in the coming seasons.
David, what was your favorite moment of the season?
Well, it was a great season that I'd have to say my favorite moment had nothing to do with the gameplay. Felicia made me laugh on so many different occasions, but it was when she noticed a smell amongst the house guest that smelled like fried chicken, and she couldn't figure out what it was. And it was her. She pulls out a fried chicken leg from her robe pocket.
A true icon.
And then we went into this montage of her just pulling out random foods throughout the season out of her pockets. I thought it was a hilarious bit and made me love Felicia even more. So that had to be my favorite moment. What about you?
I think just in general, the Cirie Felicia relationship, I thought their friendship was so sweet. The way that they kind of were the mamas for the whole house was really sweet to watch. To see two people who are like older, just in comparison to everybody else, like make it so far in the game was enjoyable to watch, because in seasons past, we've seen anyone basically like over the age of 40 just like getting voted off right away.
Yep.
So I loved watching them.
Yeah, they were an incredible dynamic duo, and another validation of CBS doing a fantastic job by casting these people.
100%.
So that leads us into your favorite house guest of BB25.
It's Cirie. Duh. I'm the biggest Cirie fan, and I just loved watching her.
Yeah, she was really fun to watch. I loved the crossover, Survivor and Big Brother. My favorite house guest, as should be no surprise after my favorite moment, was Felicia. I thought she was endearing. She was lovable. She was funny. She was a little chaotic at times, and she just brought a fun energy to this house that I really enjoyed watching. So thank you, Mama Fee. I hope to meet you one day, and I'd love to try your cooking.
Two queens.
Yes,
We love them so
we
much.
we do.
Yes. Something Julie did say was that coming up this winter, they're playing something called Big Brother Reindeer Games.
Yes.
It might be a little silly. We have no idea. There's definitely like elves and some sort of Christmassy theme. And Big Brother Legends are going to play some sort of version of Big Brother.
Yeah, it'll be
condensed season.
It'll be super interesting to see. It's a brand new game. I love that. I'll take on any Big Brother content that they're willing to give us.
Yeah.
Throw in a little holiday razzle dazzle, and I am in.
I love it.
Me
I love
too.
it. And we found out so far that there's going to be Jordan, Derek X, and Tiffany coming back in some capacity. I don't think they're playing, but they're like part of the season.
BB elves or something?
I don't know. And then one player from this season. I don't know who it's going to be.
No.
Maybe Cameron?
Maybe Cameron. I thought maybe Nicole. She had a really animated reaction as Julie was announcing this game during the finale night.
Yeah, that's true.
So she'd be a fun person to get a second chance to
I
play.
would love to watch her.
Yeah.
You know who I really want it to be, though?
Oh, I know who it is, but why don't you tell the
Heisem.
audience?
I miss Heisem. He went home too soon this season. He's a great competitor. He's entertaining. He's so direct with people. It kind of catches them off guard. I would love to see him in another sort of game. We need get this man back on my TV.
His laugh still echoes in my head.
I love him.
Yeah.
I
He
love
was
him
a
so
fun
much.
he was a fun house guest to watch too.
Yeah. So a successful season. We
Can't believe
had
it's over.
Jag. Congrats to Jag.
Yes,
He really did
congratulations.
earn it, you know.
100%.
We had our mixed opinions about how people were playing the game, how the winner was determined, whether we should focus more on like competitions or social. But ultimately, he made it happen for himself. So
Right. The best two players made it to the end. That so rarely happens in Big Brother. They both did deserve to be there in the end, and Jag had a very compelling case. He did deserve to win. So did Matt. So I would have been at peace with either one of them. And Jag makes history as the first Sikh player to ever win Big Brother. So congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
yes, and with the end of BB25 comes the end of season 1 of Hey Houseguests.
We did it.
I have had a blast
Yes.
talking about this show every week. Honestly, we do it anyway, so to be able to share it with everyone and get more people's opinions involved has been a blast. So much fun.
Thank you so much for joining us with these discussions. Big Brother is a passion of ours. We know it's a passion of yours, and we can't wait to continue talking Big Brother in the future.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll be back here soon. Maybe a little reindeer games.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Expect
Thanks
the
so-
unexpected.
That's true. That's true.
Yes.
Good one. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
Bye.